A controversial law on judicial reforms in Poland has been sent to the Parliament's committee as part of the next stage of making the reform law. People have been protesting against the move since it was put forward by the ruling Populist Party. Protesters say the law will give the government the power to fire judges, and there's fears that it will mark the end of the separation of powers between the government and the judiciary. For more on this, let's speak to Krzysztof Mulczyk, who is the political editor for news website Poland In. Krzysztof, good seeing you this evening. Can you just explain why this bill is so controversial?
Well, the controversy is about disciplining judges. It's about judges who have challenged the status of other judges in other courts as being illegitimate. It's rather a complex scenario here in Poland. And of course, the demonstrations that took place last night have been actually followed by the opposition failing in Parliament to show up properly for the vote on the judicial reform. As a result of the fact that 30 opposition MPs didn't show up, the government was able to win a majority, even though some members of the ruling party were unhappy with the measure and were not voting for it. Nevertheless, it looks as if the measure is now going to be softened quite considerably.
So that'll be music to the ears of some people who are against the government in Poland, but Poland's Supreme Court itself has warned that if these reforms are put through, the country might have to leave the EU. Does that worry Polish people in general, or is there an anti-EU sentiment in Poland?
No, this seems a rather outlandish claim, I have to say. The simple fact is there is no way for Poland to be kicked out of the European Union unless it wants to leave the European Union. The only way to leave the European Union is through Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, the process that Great Britain is now going through. Now, there's no support for Poland leaving the European Union in the government, and there's certainly even less support for that amongst the people. So that seems alarmist, to talk about Poland leaving the European Union.
But if that's what the Supreme Court is saying, do you think that is being used as something to scare people? Or why do you think that statement's being made?
I think some judges on the Supreme Court are saying that because they're saying that without the independence of the judiciary, Poland does not meet the obligations on the rule of law. But even if that was the case, even if that was adjudged to be the case, nevertheless, all that the European Union could do would be to impose sanctions on Poland or to suspend its right of a vote on the European Council. And even then, it would have to have unanimous approval by the whole of the European Council without Poland to do that. But actually, to have Poland leaving is something that Poland will have to do itself. I think the fear is that there might be growth in opposition to Polish membership of the European Union if there is too much Brussels interference in the governance of Poland, and that some people inside the ruling party might start calling for Poland to leave. But it seems very, very unlikely at this stage.
Krzysztof Mulczyk, political editor for news website Poland In. Thank you very much for your thoughts and views.